This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 27th day of May in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Police investigators are reviewing CCTV video footage that they hope could lead them to the arrest of a suspect in the late-night execution of Ministry of Health driver and Sophia resident Colin McPherson. The 43-year-old man was shot dead on Thursday night at his Deepfield Sophia home as he was attacked in front of his children and relatives who dashed for cover. A police statement said McPherson was sitting to the front of his yard on a bench when the gunman walked up to him and opened fire. Although being shot, he was able to run into the house, but was followed by the gunman, who shot him 2 more times, while his family members ran for safety. The gunman, who was wearing a blue face mask, ran from the scene just after, according to the police report. McPherson was pronounced dead by emergency medical technicians who were summoned to the home. The execution-style murder has left the family members shocked and confused.
That I hear somebody just shot me father, it left me shocked till now because, I can't believe that my father don't have no problem with nobody. He don't interfere nobody don't get no trouble. So it's rather strange to me to know what happened, right? But I don't know exactly what happened. I just want justice.
The family members also said they are unaware of why he would be attacked and executed by anyone. One of his daughters also noted that everything happened quickly, and those who were at the home started to run from the time they heard the first gunshot.
My 13-year-old sister, my niece, she's 3 years old. It's not easy. It's not easy to cope with it.
The man's family and friends are hoping for a thorough investigation, and they also want the police to investigate every lead. More news coming up in just a moment.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow.
With the approval of each new oil production project offshore, more jobs and opportunities are created onshore. And not just for those working in the oil and gas sector, more Guyanese are providing support services in transportation, catering, logistics, accommodation and hospitality, among many others. Oil and gas development is fueling Guyana's transformation.
Both, I see face and hear voice and they don't know say a skeng they are represent Badaration, the mega concert in that Guyana, May 27. Make sure no outside, carry out to them outside. No.
When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobile One adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
Yo, Atlanta is a big bad city for his pushing out the GT. Don't forget the 29th we got in Bliss launch. Yeah, Atlanta we say city for his mushy live. So we're gonna do some covers like bye. Must get a thing. Must get a thing. How we out a GT. All of the guys them a wine and shake. Guyanese woman them a #1. Yo, flashback we say. Bliss launch 29th of Atlanta, Stitching Vice Machine, keep the name Mocha.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Investigations are ongoing tonight into that late Wednesday night fire which claimed the lives of 3 young siblings after they were left alone at home by their mother, who worked as a security guard. In a statement, the Guyana Fire Service now says that its initial investigations point to the origin of the fire being electrical in nature. The fire service said its fire tenders were unable to reach the scene of the fire because of the absence of any passable roadway to the back dam where the small wooden house once stood. The mother of the children, Tracy Flew, said she was at work on Wednesday night when she received the devastating news of her house being on fire. By the time she got to the scene, the building was completely gutted and the lives of the children lost.
Last night I left to go to work. I really don't know what happened last night. I left to go to work. I got a phone call saying that my house on fire when I did work. I really don't know what happened last night at my house.
The woman's ex-boyfriend was arrested by the police yesterday. The man had reportedly threatened the woman to harm her children and her after she filed assault charges against him. He remains in custody under investigation. He was not the father of the 3 children.
Yes, I was in a relationship with an abusive boyfriend. I go to the station countless times to make report. This month then supposed to be we court there, and he tell me that anytime I go to court, it's gonna be the last day I ever see a police, and he gonna kill me. And enough night, I used to go there running because he used to want to put in knives to me, running me with cutlass, telling me how he kill me, and I not see me cheering. Then the next time he tell me how he kill me and bury me, nobody not gonna find me body.
How did it feel when you leave for work? You used to lock the in the house or something?
No, I used to carry them by my parents. And then I asked me workplace. I explained to them that this boy tell me anytime he see me coming to work, he gonna bore me up and so. At time of police had to stop and collect me because he started chucking me up in tongues. I asked for a couple days off of work just for don't get for CE because he get a restraining order for he not to come to me place. And last night he called me and I refused to answer the phone. I don't know why you would do anything to me, sir.
Meanwhile, the acting fire chief said while additional samples from the fire scene will be assessed, the findings so far point to electrical issues at the home as the cause for the blaze. The matter remains under probe. Let's tell you now that a police constable is under close arrest as the Office of Professional Responsibility probes the shooting death of a man who was a suspect in an assault case. The body of 30-year-old Dean Raj Singh, who lived in the Riverview squatting area, was found on Thursday morning with a gunshot wound to the side. Police investigators were called to the home of the man's ex-wife on Wednesday night after she reported that he was at the house threatening to kill her. She had a restraining order against him. When the party of policemen arrived at the scene, Singh reportedly ran from the house and hid in nearby bushes. The police force said the police officers were searching for the man when one of the ranks opened fire after claiming that the man was running towards him with an object in his hands. The suspect reportedly ran from the scene and fell into the river. His body was found the following morning with a gunshot wound. Now his family members are saying the police version of events may not be factual, and they believe that he was murdered in cold blood.
But why looking at, I can't see the police shoot a man. If you shoot a man, you're supposed to go and look for him and carry to the station house. If he dead, let the horse or whatever come to pick you up. Them and do that. Them till next morning, 4 o'clock. Then shoot you at 9 something minutes to 10. Till next morning, 4 o'clock, you come in the village asking people if them hear a man get shoot last night. And people pass right at the station and see 3 of them in the compound hollering. I shoot one of them last night in at the back there last night. That was it. He was a friendly person, he was a fisherman, he was a friendly person. They're all out there and here and there, he's drink and enjoy himself. That's what we normally do. All of us as family, when we come together, we there with we friends, that's what we normally do.
The police officer who fired the shots was removed from active duty and remains under police close arrest while the incident is being investigated. President Irfan Ali has issued a call on citizens to rededicate themselves to working together in the interest of the nation. Speaking at the national flag raising ceremony, which was held at Anna Regina in Essequibo on Wednesday night, President Ali also spoke about the importance of defending Guyana's territorial integrity and sovereignty, noting that there must be no division when it comes to Guyana standing as one on the issue of territorial integrity.
Independence imposes us the duty to safeguard Guyana's territorial integrity and national sovereignty. On these issues, Guyanese must broker no division. We must continue to stand united in defending our motherland from external threats. We will continue to marshal the best diplomatic efforts necessary to ensure respect for all our territorial space.
Guyana currently has Venezuela before the International Court to reaffirm the decision of the arbitral award of 1899, which determined and settled the boundary between Guyana and Venezuela. The president said Guyana will remain on that path.
We do not intend to deviate from the judicial path which has been taken to address the controversy with the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Our path to peace is paved with good intentions. We are committed to good neighborly relations. We are equally committed to expanding and deepening our relations with our sister member states of the Caribbean community and our global partners, and being part of the global family of democratic states.
President Ali also used his independence speech to outline some of his government's agenda, pointing to major investments in several areas and infrastructural development. The president said his government remains committed to all the people of Guyana and will continue to unveil initiatives and projects across the country that will benefit the citizens. Leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, is calling the government out and says the government has not been fair to all citizens. He said while the government continues to talk about one Guyana, many of the policies that it has been implementing are geared towards further dividing the country.
Instead of concerted effort and broad-based participation in national decision-making, we find that government increasingly hell-bent on instituting political dominance and autocratic rule. Instead of a viable economy, we find an economy that privileges the political elite, friends and family, but shortchanges the elderly, single parents, unemployed, the working poor, the young and upcoming, small business owners, small farmers, and families with babies and small children.
The opposition leader said as Guyana celebrated its independence, many of its citizens found themselves struggling with a rising cost of living and not enough efforts by the government to address their real needs. The opposition leader said Guyana has found itself observing its 56th independence anniversary while facing bad governance and being devoid of optimism. Mr. Norton also said it is time for the nation to do better, and it must start with Guyanese being given the platform and resources to once again believe in themselves. The full court has upheld the decision of Justice Gino Posad, who ruled back in March that a challenge mounted by the Police Service Commission to the suspension of the Police Service Commissioners, including its chairman by President Irfan Ali, can proceed. And the Attorney General moved to the full court to challenge that decision. The judge ruled that the case could proceed and that the former chairman of the Police Service Commission, retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Slow, having sufficient standing in the matter, can stand in its stead, though the commission had expired. He expressed the view that the substantive issue of the legality of the suspension of the commissioners should be heard and determined on its merits, being a matter of public interest and not be discarded because of the life of the commission coming to an end. On the other hand, the Attorney General disagreed with that ruling and maintained that the application could not stand, given that the life of the commission expired and Mr. Slow filed the application as the sitting chairman of the Police Service Commission. But in handing down the ruling, the full court, comprising of Justices Fidela Corbin Lincoln and Priya Behari, ruled that the expiration of the term of the office for the Commission does not affect the body itself, but simply mean that the body will be carrying out its functions. The judges said they agree with the learned trial judge's decision to refuse the application to strike out the claim. The judges explained the effects of the term of the appointed members of the Commission.
Have you heard the news?
The CPL is back.
Done! Yes! The finals coming to Guyana.
Absolutely brilliant. It's going to be a carnival of cricket.
It's going to be a carnival of cricket.
It's going to be a carnival of cricket.
See you there.
Tell it to your enemy and tell it to your friend. Watch Guyanese girl, them a hurtle, and them a do it in a circle. Watch me, missing each and every year. Flashback come again. Tell it to your enemy and tell it to your friend. Well, if you're ready for the party, yeah then. Flashback, tell them a the trend. Pala missing. This are not butterfly nor no bees. No girl can whine like Guyanese. Watch the young them a do it in a circle. Guyanese girls them a dance in a circle. Hear me and say no, me go banter. You know I some boy killer represent the Golden Smile family. You know say flashback old school party. You know say oh the vibes is plenty. Slow down. Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, the Reuters news agency is reporting that Brazil is preparing to receive a record number of international observers for its October election, according to electoral authorities and participating organizations, amid a polarized presidential race in which the incumbent President Jair Bolsonaro has questioned the reliability of electronic voting machines. Bolsonaro's government objected to an invitation last month extended by the Brazilian electoral authorities to the European Union to send observers for the first time, sinking that proposal. But the Parliament of South American trade bloc Mercosur, known as Parlasur, will send a formal observer mission for the first time, as will the US-based Carter Center and the International Foundation for Electoral Systems. The 34-nation Organization of American States also will send more observers than it did in 2018 when Bolsonaro was elected. A judge in Mexico agreed Thursday to consider a preliminary injunction against plans by the President of Mexico to hire about 500 specialized doctors from Cuba. According to a copy of the injunction, the government has not proved that the doctors have the ability or training needed to practice in Mexico. The plaintiffs in the case also argued that most of the doctors' pay might go to the Cuban government, not the medical professionals themselves. The identity of those who filed the injunction was not released, but several professional and medical groups have criticized the plan, which was announced by the president on the 9th of May. The agreement with the Cuban government was negotiated without having confirmed the quantity of the doctors and without having validated their education as is required by applicable regulations in Mexico. And finally tonight, international news. After being closed to tourists for 2 years, Japan is opening its borders to visitors from 98 countries and regions. It marks the most significant moment so far in the country's slow relaxation of its COVID-19 entry restrictions. But some restrictions will remain, including a requirement to visit the country as part of a tour group. Japan implemented some of the world's toughest virus control regimes and banned foreign visitors from the delayed 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. Travel restrictions had already been relaxed for foreign residents and business travelers, and the government recently raised the limit on daily foreign arrivals to 20,000 from the 1st of June. Since mid-March, international students have also been permitted entry. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.